Hello guys, now we want to see in practical how we are going to set the checkpoints for our devices in the network. Now in Victoria DC1, we already did that in a previous video, but just in case someone skip it, again, a snapshot manager, snapshot 5, and go to it, yes, that's it. And for DC1 for now, just as you see in here, we have only one network adapter. I want now to set all the updates, the current updates, to simulate what is currently really available in the network, because I know later once I am done with SQL installation, I will create a new snapshot for Victoria DC1 with the current updates and with SQL now, which is just joined to the network once we installed it. So for Victoria DC1, if you want currently, but don't forget later to remove it before you create a snapshot. You can add another network adapter and connect it to NAT to be able to receive updates to DC1, or just power on the router, because the router, we already did it before in course 1. We set the routing to the internet so you can access. For me, for now, the Victoria DC1, I will edit the virtual machine settings, and in the virtual machine settings, I will add a new network adapter. And by default, the network adapter is connected to NAT, and I'll power on this virtual machine. For SQL Server, you can access now to the snapshot, and currently you have only snapshot 1, no need to revert to it. But let us see in the snapshot manager, snapshot 1, it tells you fresh box with updates October 2019. This is what we did in the previous video. So now my main goal is just to update Victoria DC1. Now, what about all other machines? Other machines, you need all of them to power on them. First, you need to revert them to a trusted snapshot to make sure any progress that you might do in any lab and you don't need that progress is going to be reverted. And you make sure also, like, you still have the 3 valid license manager attempts. You don't need later to find a way to extend the evaluation, because that tool you can keep using it for 3 times. If you start from a snapshot which you had made without the use of license manager for any time. Now my domain controller is online. I just need to access to it. Log on. So everything currently on this domain controller, I am happy with it. We can even check the tools, access to Active Directory users and computers. If you missed adding more users, then this is the right time to do it. Here, as you see, I have London Client 2. It is a London OU. That was for WSUS purposes. No, I need to bring it back now with computers. So that's why I'll access to London. And I need to move it to computers. So now all the devices are in computers. And for the domain controller, I have only Victoria DC1. Now it is the right time to add any OU or additional users or groups that you might need before the next checkpoint. The next checkpoint, we want everything which is going to suit the use of SQL Server to be in there. Then I can create checkpoint. Okay, the Active Directory is fine. We need now to access directly to update. So we can check from local servers. Here we have ADCS, AD domain service, DHCP, DNS, file server, and IIS. All of that is fine. And with updates, we have number. We need to retry checking for updates and go through the cycle of installation. I need to make sure all the updates of this domain controller are in there. Then we continue once it is ready. I had restarted the server and this is the last update for now. Then I need to restart it again and then we can continue our work. And now we need to do a second restart. This is the last one. As we see now, once we logged in, all updates are in there. I don't have any more cycles of updates. Now, one more final things I need to check is the group policy object in this device, so group policy management. And in group policy management in gCyber, here I have now the default domain policy. The settings in there is according to my need, and the root CA. This policy, we made this before just to authenticate also the certification authority of the other forest, which is MD Cyber. Here, this forest is gCyber, part of Windows Server 2019 series courses. In London, do I have any policy attached in there? Nothing. So the policy, everything also is fine. I don't need to add anything to it. Now, the next move, I will add SQL 2019 box as a member in Victoria DC1 or in this domain, and then I will be able to see the Victoria DC1 Active Directory users and computers. And later, again, we will do the snapshot, the main one. SQL Server from now on is going to be like a valid server in our environment. It's not temporary for lab purpose or whatever. We use it from now on for even the advanced courses like System Center Configuration Manager, System Center Operation Manager. We don't need to reinstall a SQL Server at that stage. We can directly do the installation of SCCM, SCOM using the SQL Server which we are going to prepare in this course. But for the domain control itself, I don't need to add any more to it. I need to access to SQL Server 2019. Till now it is not joined to the domain. And just waiting for the server manager to be online. We already did all the updates on this server, so I don't need to add any more. Now in local server, currently it is joined the work group by default. We need to change that. So we change it to gcyber.local. An Active Directory domain controller, gcyber.local could not be contacted. In that case, I need to check the network adapter and access now to network and sharing center. Change adapter settings, and this is the internet. This one, network cable unplugged. Let us see properties. Check first the IP address. So the IP address is fine, preferred DNS is fine. We need to fix things now. Right click, run CMD, and now I will check what I need. ipconfig. Okay, so this one, this is the IP address which is linked me to the network, the real network. And this one now, if I disable and re-enable, I will check. And I do believe the problem we have in here is what we call it flip connection. This adapter is connected to the wrong switch, same in here. The internet one, this one, if you check again the IP address, okay, it obtains its IP address automatically. And this one, switch one, properties, it has this IP address 192.168.0.20. And remember the order. The first one is supposed to connect to the internet. The second one is supposed to connect to pre-switch one. So what I will do, I'll exit full mode, access again to SQL 2019 settings. And in settings, I will do the following. I will flip now the switches. Network adapter, first one, I will connect it to NAT, and the second one, I will connect it to switch one. I think that is going to solve the problem. So this one connect to switch, and this one to the NAT. Select OK. Then I will check again and see what do I have now. Settings, here I'll check no. See, now we can see gcyber local. Yep, the first one to the NAT, and the second one now to switch one. And I'll check CMD again, CLS, check ipconfig. And here I give this IP address 192.168.0.102. The reason, because this IP address is available in the DHCP of DC1. Good, so the problem is with the NAT. It's currently stopped, but it is fine. I don't need it anyway. That's why I will access to the settings, again of SQL1 box for now. And the NAT currently I don't expect to have any update or anything. So simply I will just remove it. Later I will need to add it, and I have only one network adapter connected to pre-switch one. Okay, check my network connectivity and then refresh. And I have only this adapter. I will rename it, call it gcyber, to know later that this one is connected to gcyber. And in properties now, I will set the static IP address which I want. Sometimes, especially when you deal with the lab, you might have these kind of problems. So all the time you should be aware about it. And the DNS is on my domain control, which is 192.168.0.4, according to the network settings. And the IP address you have entered to this network adapter is already assigned to another adapter. Okay. Let us give it another IP address then. Just change it a bit. Change it to 21. Close. And now this device is ready to be added to the domain. I can check first the IP address now. ipconfig. And as we see, it is 192.168.0.21. If I ping now 192.168.0.4, I have connectivity. All is working now. Don't need the screen, close it. So now again I'll try to access to gcyber.local, click on OK, and this time it asks me, are you authorized person to do that? I am G Cyber Administrator. Password. We have the welcome message. Okay, and close, restart the device now. Now we can log in as a domain admin to this device, other device, G Cyber Administrator, password, login for the first time. We have to continue the rest of the settings and the preparation in the next video. Thanks for watching.